Welcome to another vegan evening meal or lunch meal, whatever you want to do today, guys. We are going to be doing a mixed vegetable and pineapple tray bake tonight. So I've got my oven nice and hot, ready for about 180 to 200 degrees. I've got a nice sharp knife. I've already chopped up some of our vegetables just to save you the time watching me. So we have chopped up 500 grams of sweet potato into nice little chunks, and I've done red pepper, red onion, white onion, and I'm going to do a second pepper now, and then some garlic and pineapple. So with our little pepper, we're going to take off the base of the pepper, okay, and that just gives us a nice flat base to easily get around that pepper. That's the way I like to cut these peppers, and then you're just left with that middle bell seed area. Okay, so we're just going round, and then you're literally just left with that middle bit. Just cut away that last bit. Okay, so that's our pepper, and we're going to cut that into the same size as what our sweet potato was, just so everything cooks about the same time. So nice chunks for the pepper, nice and big. That's it. And I've used red for the flavour, so I'd probably choose red over green or even yellow pepper. Them are the two that I'd go for. I'd go red or yellow. And then we're going to chop up that garlic, quite chunky as well for the garlic, because we are going to blitz some of the meal up later. We're going to make a little like puree so the veg can be smothered in something. So we've got our red onion, white onion, 2 red peppers, 4 garlic cloves, 500 grams of sweet potato, and I'm going to do a chilli. This is for obviously choice of flavour. If you don't mind spicy food, get a whole chilli. I'm just using half a chilli. Okay, I'm just going to chop up that into little smaller sections, because I will put that in the blender when we blend all our pieces together at the end. My last thing to chop up now is going to be my last sweet potato and my pineapple chunks. I've got some tin pineapple chunks, so I'm just going to chuck them in, and that will do nicely. So sweet potato, and this will probably be the one that takes the longest to cook, the sweet potato. So just chop it up nice and thick. So just that sweet potato into some nice chunks there. Perfect. So everything is in nice big sized chunks, apart from my chilli, which I've cut into a smaller portion. And now we're just going to need our tray. So we're going to chuck everything just in a nice oven-proof baking tray. I'm going to get some olive oil first, put it in the tray, just so it doesn't burn to the bottom of the baking tray. So that's going in nicely. All our lovely vegetables are just being plopped into there. Get any bits sort of dropped off, and just mix them together nicely. And our sweet potato, I'm going to put that on the top because that'll probably cook the longest. That will do nicely as well. Just get all that sweet potato chucked on top. Okay. Now some flavour, some seasoning. So we've got some mixed spice, or 5 spices, that I'm going to add onto this dish. You could probably use anything that you wanted, to be fair. We've already got that chilli that's going to be in there. So if you don't like too much heat, probably avoid the mixed spice. So a bit of mixed spice on the top, that should give a lovely Christmassy feeling, I'd have thought. Smells beautiful. And some cinnamon, okay? So I'm probably putting a couple of teaspoons of these seasonings on there and some thyme. Okay, all these ingredients should be on your shopping list. If you don't like a certain ingredient, avoid it or swap it for something else. If it's a herb that you're not too keen on, swap it for another herb. And last piece to add into this dish is going to be a soy sauce. Oh, and then our pineapples. So that will all be going onto that mix. And then we're just going to mix all that nicely together. And last ingredient to go in is going to be a tin of pineapple chunks. And we'll just plop that all in there nicely. So all them flavours are just going to nicely combine. And then once everything's in, give it a stir around. Okay, you can put some extra additive flavours if you want. Just mix all that nicely. So we're going to let this cook for about 40 to 50 minutes at 200 degrees. And then we're going to take it out and take about a third of the dinner and blend that up in a super or food blender, whatever you've got. And we're going to tip that over at the end. Okay, so this is going to go into the oven now. The oven's preheated, 200 degrees, 180. Pop that in, 50 minutes. It's nice and easy, job done. So the tray bake's been in vent now 50 minutes, so everything should be nice and soft. In the meantime, I've got 200 mils of vegetable stock, and what we're going to do is add a third of our tray into our blender, or if you've got a hand tool blender, you can use that as well. So I'm just going to take this out now. It smells divine. Okay, so we're just going to give that another little mix over. Everything's nice and soft. The potatoes mainly, that was the sweet potatoes. Just check those and nicely cook through for you. Okay, so we're going to get roughly a third of this. And we're going to try and get some of the chilies in there, some of the garlic, but just a good mix of everything. Okay, so that's roughly a third of that in there. I'm now going to add in my 200 mils of vegetable stock, and I'm going to add in another teaspoon of mixed spice and another teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to mix that around slightly just so the powders don't stick. And I'm just going to get the last dregs of my vegetable stock out the bottom of that. There we go. So that's 200 mils of vegetable stock, a third of my tray bake. I'm going to put the tray bake back into the oven now just so it stays warm, and I'm going to put some plates in the oven as well, so my plates are nice and warm, so my meal is hot, because I love the food to be hot. Nothing worse than cold plates on your food. So now we're just going to blitz up our mix, our stock. So we should get that nice puree type consistency in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tip this over our tray. Okay, stunning, absolutely stunning. So we'll get our tray out now, that's nice and warm, and we're just going to smother that food with our tray. That's absolutely beautiful. So that's that blended in. We're just going to give it one more little stir, just so that sauce, puree, whatever you want to call it, gets everywhere. And then just for a last little blast, I'm just going to turn the grill on my oven, and I'm just going to give that little grill over just to brown any edges on the peppers, pineapple, and then sweet potatoes and that's going to do for 2 minutes. In that 2 minutes I'm going to get my plates out. I'm going to get my trays out so I don't burn my legs. So the grill now will just crisp off the top of the of any of them vegetables. And if you wanted to, you could add some rice or quinoa, anything that you wanted to go underneath to bulk it up. That'd be lovely. Okay, so our plates are out. We're going to put these on the tray. That's a nice little bit of grill time. Let's get this out now. And there we go. That's going to be our lovely pineapple, pepper and sweet potato roast. I hope you enjoy this, guys, at home.